I'll just do a quick sketch of the general principles of the system for you. Okay, say you'd like a report on the progress of your whole school. Let's represent this by a gauge. Bottom left is inadequate. Top left is satisfactory. Top right, good. And bottom right, outstanding. Now, where are we today? Well, the pointer tells us we're between satisfactory and good. The marker here tells us where the pointer was last time it moved, so I've got a direction of travel which is in the right direction in this case. Now, how can a system like Escendency give you a report like this in real time? Well, it does it by gathering together the progress of each and every one of the pupils in your school. And how do we know how they're doing? Well, you're currently carrying out assessments and various checks. Depending on the sort of school you have, perhaps you're assessing for emotional issues, behaviour, social, academic. You've perhaps got various tools that you're already using, some examples, perhaps B squared, pivots, goal, wand, and so on. And what the system does, Escendency, is to take your predicted expectations for each and every one of these targets, if you like, over time, and compare that to where the pupil actually is on each of these. So if this is today, we can see if there's been improvement versus the start, or even perhaps getting worse, maybe on target or ahead of where you would expect them to be at this time. So all this is rolled up for each and every pupil, and then all the pupils together, which in turn drives the top level dial for the school. Now, because it's all in one central database, we can now pull out reports broken down this from this dial. So if you want the pointer to go further to the right, further clockwise towards good in this case, then perhaps we'll pull up a whole bank of gauges, and these could be pointing in different directions. For example, these could be key stage 2, key stage 3, and so on. Or it could be perhaps year 7, year 8, year 9, and so on. But having a quick look over that, you can see where things are doing well and where things are not doing well. So strengths and weaknesses. Clicking on the icon next to the gauge will bring up a pie chart, multicolored and like traffic light colours, so we can see now more detail of any that sort of catches our eye that we want to improve. For example, you could compare year 7 English to year 8 English, and perhaps year 9 English. I'm not picking on English, this is just an example. You could, for example, take year 7 and compare maths versus science versus English, yes, and see if there's any differences between them, strengths and weaknesses, and where perhaps we can have a look in further detail. Pulling up a scorecard, again, traffic light colours, we could see reds and greens and so on. You can also go further in the system and use the action planning functionality in the system to track improvement plans. That's denoted by a flag in our system. So if you see a red square and it's got a flag in it, it means there is a corrective, there is an action improvement plan in place already. And clicking on the flag will reveal the actual details of the plan and what's already been carried out and what hasn't, but general progress of the plan itself. So you can see something's happening about that. Of course, you can attach them to anything in the system, including individual pupils on individual assessments. 360 degree view of a pupil is another report you can run in the system, and even it was even suggested to us by a school that we should have maybe some animation. Excuse the drawing, I'm a terrible drawer, as you can see, and it was suggested we have some animation like say an archer with a bow and arrow firing into a target, and then some appropriate noise depending on the result overall of how the pupils doing. And that's to help, if you'd like to engage the pupils in the system itself, and obviously that's completely optional. You can turn that on or off. You can have any reports you like in the system. If the reports aren't there already, you can just tell us what you want, and if you we envisage being a larger national user group of the Ascendency for special schools, and all the improvements, all the extra reports, whatever you want the system to do, doesn't cost any extra. It's all included in your annual subscription.